Oh man, favorite play?
It's tough.
Oh, definitely pick six versus the Raiders.
That was
Yeah,
crazy.
they were
That was
so mad. They were so mad. I think the whole stadium was. I never heard the Coliseum so quiet. It was quiet. All the fans were flicking me off. F you. Everybody was mad.
Welcome back to another episode of the Broncos Avenue Podcast. I'm your host, as always, Amir, Farrell, with my co-host, Mackey, a.k.a. JMack. And as you guys can tell, we have a huge, massive guest on today's episode. He is a four-time Pro Bowler, three-time All-Pro, member of the 2010 All-Decade team, a legendary Broncos cornerback, but most importantly, a Super Bowl 50 champion, the one and only Chris Harris Jr., man. Thank you, Chris, for being on the show. It's a huge episode for us, and thank you so much for being on the show, brother. Appreciate it.
Oh, yeah, no problem, man. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, man. Hey, Chris, real quick before we get into everything, I just want to say, man, you were my favorite corner growing up. Like, it's actually crazy. My brother, he was a Champ Bailey fan. You were my favorite, like, corner ever, and still is. I just want to say, man, thank you so much for making my childhood great, man.
Oh yeah, no problem, bro. I came in the league with some great veterans. Coming in with Champ. I had Brian Dawkins. We had another corner named Andre Goodman. He had played a decade in the league at corner. So I had great vets, man. Definitely come in as a rookie and definitely learn from those guys and see how it's done. To be able to help me have a good career.
Speaking of you entering the league in 2011 out of the University of Kansas, you were undrafted. And obviously doing a little bit of research last night, you did not receive an invite to the NFL Combine. What can you kind of take us behind that process of what it was like going from someone that not a lot of people knew your name or recognized your name to eventually one of the biggest names in the entire NFL? I mean, I think we could all agree you were the best damn cornerback in football for a long time.
Yeah. I think what happened was I was always ranked in like the top 10 corners at corner, especially in the Big 12, definitely, because I started over 40 games in college. But my last, I think, 10 games, I wasn't getting any action at corner, so it was like just killing my stats. I wasn't really getting any targets, and so my coaches just switched me to safety. And I think when people see me switch to safety, they thought it was because of speed or maybe I wasn't just good at corner. And when I moved to safety, it like dropped me to like 25. It dropped me in my rankings. So I pretty much got lost in the kind of the shuffle. And if I would have just stayed at corner, I would have probably been at the Combine, would have had a Senior Bowl invite just based off of what I was doing at corner throughout the Big 12, going against Dez Bryant, Jordy Nelson, Jeremy Macklin, all these guys I faced in college, that I ended up facing in the NFL. So Eric Decker, I went against these guys in college. And so I think that's kind of what happened is me switching positions. And then we had the lockout that year where pretty much after the draft, there was no communication with the NFL or with the scouts or anything. Everything was in disarray. So I didn't get a call from the NFL from teams. I got a call from the Dolphins, the Cowboys, and the Broncos. And I had better offers from those other teams, but we thought that the Broncos had a better situation for me with I think they're getting rid of their management at that time. This is Elway's first year. It was gonna be some competition, but it was gonna be I would have had a chance to, I had a great opportunity to make the team. So I thought it was, even though I think my signing bonus was like $2,000. I had probably the lowest signing bonus on the team. I did have the lowest signing bonus on the team. Being able to come in right after that lockout. They called us in like end of July, and in like 2 days I was in Denver. You know what I mean? It was that fast, man. From when training camp picked up, man, and one thing that helped me is that the rookies, they had a delay from when they got signed. You know how they got to do rookie contracts, and it was a new CBA at that time, right? So it wasn't like how it's slotted now. Like they didn't really know how to slot it yet, So I got a chance to get a head start on the rookies because they had got there later. You know, Von and them didn't get there for a couple weeks later, Raheem and all those guys. So I was able to get a little head start on those guys and get some more looks. So I think that kind of helped me too.
Yeah, Chris, you talk, so going into like your transition to the league, I want to ask you about this, one of your biggest plays ever. I think I want to say one of your first 2 years in the league, the Chargers. And I think you got some on your wall right behind you there, the news article they printed out. Can you talk us through that play?
Yeah.
That play really put your name on the map. That's when everybody started, knowing about you. Can you just talk us about that play and what that play meant for you?
Oh man, it was just I think that was probably the time where I think Broncos country finally had like full confidence in me. Yeah. I think they had seen me ball out as a rookie, but the next year, I don't know if they had full confidence in me because they paid Drayton Florence and Tracy Porter, I think, that next year. So we brought in 2 other corners after I was all rookie team, and I had like 70-some, almost 80-some tackles my rookie year. And I think I still graded out top 10, as a rookie. So it was, so I was, I was hungry. So I think Tracy Porter was out. And I think we had probably, Champ played that game. So I think Champ was in, but Tracy was out. And they had cut Drayton cut Drayton during training camp. Yeah. Right. So we went with Tony Carter. And so that game was me, Tony, and Champ going against the Chargers. I think it was Monday night. Tracy had, I think he got sick. He was going through some things. And that was my opportunity. It was like, hey, y'all give me another chance to be able to start. Hey, I'm about to take it and take this opportunity and run with it, man. I was able to, I think I had 2 picks that game, a couple pass breakups. Pretty much was, had a pretty much be able to solidify my chance to be able to start the rest of that season. So that was just my opportunity. And that's you don't really get that many chances as an undrafted guy. And so you got to take those opportunities as much as you can and run with it.
Yeah, legendary performance. Remember that game like it was yesterday. The 2011 season, the Broncos, it was your rookie year. The Broncos had not made the playoffs for 5 consecutive seasons. The Broncos end up hiring John Fox from the Panthers. We hired Dennis Allen over from the Saints, who actually is the interim head coach of the Saints right now because of Sean Payton leaving and coming to the Broncos now. That year, the Broncos reached the divisional round in the playoffs, and for the next 5 seasons, it feels like the Broncos finally returned to prominence. And you were the big reasons why one of our defense was one of the best in the league for such a good amount of time, and one of the best teams in football, honestly. And so, what do you think? What was that culture shift like, and what was it like to see guys, kind of shift into that winning mindset, if not that they already had it, and just like going through that grind, that work, for those 5 years, and obviously even past that, like we were still competing for the playoffs. Like, can you kind of take us behind that process?
I think that's just the expectations playing in Denver. The fans, they want to win every year. They don't want. We're not a tank town. Every year we expect to be competing for a playoffs or a championship. So that's kind of the expectations, and that's how it was when I got there. And that's just that was always the expectations the whole time throughout my career there. And once we got Peyton, we knew we had the talent, and we knew that we could, with the offensive weapons that we had and the young defensive players that we had ascending, coming into our prime, we had a couple more pieces. We knew that we could be dangerous. And I really believe my second year, that was probably our best team, from O-line to defense, a complete team. And just that loss to Baltimore, that's first. But that was probably our best team out of all the 9 years. Even though the Super Bowl, of course, we still did win the Super Bowl. I think if after we beat Baltimore, we're smacking New England, and we're definitely smacking the Niners. So I don't see us losing, to any team if we got past that Baltimore game.
Yeah, I agree, man. That loss still it really hurts. That was one of the first games I ever saw as a Bronco fan too. It was really that one hurt.
You
But
were there. You were there live, or you talking about TV?
no, like on TV, I had
Yeah,
just started getting into football, and my brother was a Bronco
yeah,
fan, so he's putting me on. And I just remember Trenton Holiday running back those kicks. I remember it was a shootout.
man.
We lost. It was just, man, that hurt my heart. But hey, look, all I can say, the
Yeah,
Broncos, we kept winning, and we ended up getting one. So, but I do want to bring up
sure.
kind of like the next era a little bit. Like Aqib Talib. I know like you and Aqib were really close. Y'all played in Kansas with each other. I know
Yeah,
like how tight y'all are. And he's labeled a lot, like people label him a lot as a dirty player. I remember I made some videos about him just having your back. The time with Harry Douglas and all the times with Michael Crabtree. And then a lot of people don't even know that the scuffle with Michael Crabtree started because he took a cheap shot at you. The play before
yeah,
cheap shot at you. Can you just kind of go into your relationship with Aqib and just
yeah,
how good of a person and a teammate that he actually was?
yeah. Me and Keith go back from college. Being able to. He was my big brother. Just coming straight in from college. 17, joining Kansas. He was already. I think he was already All American. So I was a true freshman starting opposite All American in college. So us balling in college, and then just being tight then, and then keeping that relationship from when he got in the league, and then when I finally got to the league, being out here in Dallas, we train out here together. So just being always, really always, always having that brotherhood, keeping each other accountable. And once he joined our team, it was huge. Being able to because we had lost DRC. DRC just had a great year. So to be able to pick up Talib, that was huge. Being able to pick him up, being able to pick up Roby, because we were really. I think Tony. I don't know if Tony was still on the team. We had really probably down a couple corners at that time. So it was good to be able to pick up those guys, and that just kind of took us over the top, solidified us as definitely being that top secondary. It took us a minute. We had to get that system down of what we really wanted. We could still play elite, but just being able to find the full package system for what we needed. And once we had Wade Phillips, man, he just had the perfect system for us.
Man, Aqib, you and Aqib definitely made some of my best memories as a Bronco. Him being an absolute dog. I remember always going to school talking about his fights and everything with Michael Crabtree poking dudes in the eye. Literally, it's just I miss that stuff. It's awesome to see that dog mentality at corner. But I want to also talk about, on that topic, relationships, best locker room moments. Like, what are some of the best things that you remember looking back on your time from 2011 to 2019 with the Broncos? Obviously, towards the end, Broncos weren't winning as much games, but what are some of the best relationships you had with the team, whether it's with Coach Kubiak or Aqib Talib, Von Miller, like whoever it is?
Yeah. Well, man, from Wesley Woodyard, Champ, Champ was just a great big brother, coming into the league. Just being able to have a guy that just, him, B Doc, telling the coaches to put me in, when you got vets like those guys, Hall of Famers, telling the coaches just, hey, y'all need to just put him in, right? We want to play with this guy, like throw him out there. And then we played Green Bay. They finally throw me out there, So it was just, man, having those guys, those are big boosters, for me in my career, confidence boosters. Of course, relationship with Wesley Woodyard. That was my guy, another undrafted guy. That was, great locker room guy. This dude always had jokes. Von, of course. Me and Von go way back even before in college too. We always, had to play against each other, and I always see Von at the Big 12 media days and things like that. So we always kind of knew of each other, So. And he's out here in Texas with me in the offseason a lot of times too. So Von, Emmanuel, DT, us just sitting in the locker room playing dominoes, things like that, man. Just cracking jokes, man. It was nonstop, man. We had a lot of characters, Danny Trevathan was the whole defense was pretty much crazy, from top to bottom, So it was a lot of fun for sure.
Going between that time, I want to bring up an interesting stat that, nobody, it's crazy because at the time, nobody even really talked about it. You went 2 full years without allowing a touchdown. Like that's still, I don't think corners even doing that in today's game. 2 fulls without allowing a single touchdown. Can you talk about, some of your toughest matchups that you had to go through during your time with the Broncos?
Yeah. Oh man. Of course, facing Calvin, we had to face him a couple times. AB was definitely one of the best. Him and Big Ben, that was a tough tandem. With Martavius Bryant. I remember my rookie year, they had Emmanuel Sanders, Antonio Brown, Jericho Cotchery, Hines Ward, and Mike Wallace.
Crazy.
So they had all 5 of those guys. They were loaded. It seemed like at that time the Steelers always had like they were always finding the receivers. They were like the receiver you in the NFL. They're not like that anymore, but at that time they were. They had a lot of speed. Those guys were tough. Keenan Allen was always tough. Facing him and Rivers, always a great matchup. Matching up with those guys. Cooper, when he came in the league, he was a tough receiver. Just him being able to have, so explosive out the line, and he's still killing today. He's still balling today. But imagine when younger Cooper, and then of course number 1, Tyreek Hill. We pretty much made, kind of grown Tyreek Hill to kind of how he is now. You know what I mean? Because at first he couldn't run routes. He was learning the game, learning how to play receiver. He was always, if you get the ball in his hand, he could make it happen, still as a rookie, but he still had to sharpen up his tools, sharpen up his receiver routes, things like that, because we was putting a lot of hands on him his younger times, but as he got better, man, he just was unstoppable once he got Mahomes, with that offense. So definitely, but the top 3, Tyreek Hill, AB, Calvin Johnson for sure.
Okay,
AJ
awesome.
Green, Julio, man, all those guys, I had to face all those guys. So it was always a lot of great matchups.
No disrespect to the receivers sitting out in today's game, but you list off those names in the 2010s, just ridiculous. That makes it even more impressive for any cornerback playing during that time. And that's why I like a lot more that like during that time there was less like pass interferences and holding and everything. You guys just go at it, man. That's just really fun as like a fan to watch. But going over to your game specifically, I mean, you're not even arguably, you are one of the best defensive playmakers in the history of the Denver Broncos franchise. You have 22 career interceptions, 20 of those being in a Broncos uniform. But the aspect of your game that always like kind of resonated with me and is always super impressive was your instincts and your route recognition. Like we can talk all day about your interceptions and your return ability after your interceptions is ridiculous, but it was almost like with your route recognition that you were running the routes for the receiver. Like you were lined up on the offense and you're running the route for the quarterback. Like it was insane seeing what you would do. You're obviously insane jumping routes and everything, but for me, your route recognition was insane. What would you say is the most impressive skill trait that you had? What would you say inspired you to work so hard to perfect those things?
I would think just, being able to eliminate plays, eliminate my guy off the field. I would look at targets and, I would end of the year with like 60 targets. And you see other guys with like 120, 100 targets, Of course, they're going to have better stats, more picks because they're getting 30, 40 more balls than me, So, and that was always, pretty much throughout my career. I never was a high targeted player. But if you look at the list of corners. So that was always kind of my thing, being able to shut you down, being able to kind of take away the middle, take away that whole inside, being able to play outside also. I think people forget that I played outside, I follow ones, I played corner, so I think some people are kind of pigeonhole me in the slot sometimes, but I was able to play every position, even some safety a little bit. So, but that was probably my, in my era, it was the era where the nickel started to play man, like the era of Rondé and Rondé, just talking to Rondé, he played more zone, more cover 2, more having vision and breaking. That's why he got to roam and be free a little bit. Mine was man to man. You lock on, you got the slot, motion, anything. They were running across the field. You got them. You know what I mean? Take that man away. So it was kind of a different ball, different game in our era. Being able to play the run, I don't think anybody was better than me playing the run at the nickel, being able to fill the gaps. hit the holes with the linebackers, being able to tackle. Um, I think my first 8 years, I was number one in missed tackle ratio. I never missed tackles, right? I always tried to be the best tackler on the field. So even the stats would back that up. So those are like hidden numbers that people don't really notice, in people's games. But I was always very elite in the small things. I think that's what kind of propelled me to be able to play for a long time.
Yeah, real quick, Amir knows this, how much I love man coverage, and it stems from when you guys play. Wade Phillips, he didn't mess around with it. Straight man-to-man coverage. You got all the talent. I get frustrated watching the Broncos today a little bit. Like, you got Patrick Surtain and Justin Simmons. You got these guys roaming the zone. I'm like, man, you don't put these guys in man coverage and let them just take the receivers away. But that's gonna bring me into my next question, right on time too. In your opinion, you had the no-fly zone in 2015. I think that's still the most underrated defense, just like all the way stacked on the board. But in the secondary, in your opinion, honestly, which secondary do you think was better, the no-fly zone or Legion of Boom? Because in my opinion, I think we had the better corners. I'll give them the edge at safety, but TJ Ward and Darian Stewart was something special. And I don't want to just knock them down too much, but I definitely think that we had the better corners for sure.
Oh, yeah. The thing about the Legion of Boom was it was a completely, totally different system. They had that cover 3 system. You knew that Cam was going to be in the box. He's coming down away from that linebacker, opposite linebacker, KJ Wright. So you knew their system, right? And Sherm, when you play in that cover 3 system, not knocking Sherm because he's probably the greatest cover 3 system corner there is at playing that position, right? Sauce Gardner's playing it now, but you can see Sherm is probably the best to do it. Most of the routes are comebacks to fades. Slants, you have those big bodies inside linebackers, and they got great drops with the linebackers with KJ Wright and Bobby Wagner. You're talking about the best linebacker zone drop linebackers, other than the 49ers, Willis and Bowman. Yeah. So, I mean, those guys are phenomenal inside. So Sherm he can squeeze them back into the side, squeeze the digs, but we play man, everywhere this cat goes, that's where you had to take them. So we just had to cover a little bit more routes. And that's what I would say. We had a little bit more pressure on us, at the corner and being able to travel, taking them everywhere, So no offense to what they did, because they were definitely a great defense. But I think we just had a harder route playing in the AFC, man. It was a lot more dogs.
Yeah, 100% agree. No bias either. Like, genuinely, growing up watching that, the Legion of Boom no-fly zone, nothing comes close to no-fly zone, man. Seriously. But yeah, one of my last questions for you, man. If you had to pick one play, one interception, whatever it is on the defensive side of the ball for you, what would you say is your favorite play of all time?
Oh man, favorite play?
It's tough.
Oh, definitely pick 6 versus the Raiders.
That was crazy.
They were so mad. They were so mad. I think the whole stadium was. I never heard the Coliseum so quiet. It was quiet. All the fans were flicking me off. F you. Everybody was mad, and it was just, man. It just shut the whole stadium down. Derek Carr was done. It was one of those plays that just kind of shut the game down. So definitely that play for sure.
I can't remember. Did you do a celly after? I can't remember. Did you do a celly after that?
No, I didn't even celebrate, man. I didn't even go crazy. I was so tired, man. I think we were on like a 8-play drive right there. Carr was trying to drive in. It was a tight game. So, I don't even think I went back in on the next drive until like play 5. I was tired still.
Yeah. Speaking about just like good moments and stuff like that, you had the privilege of being in Super Bowl, Super Bowl weekend twice. I know the first time you had got hurt, but the second time you was able to play. Can you give us some good moments, during Super Bowl weekend that you remember?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, the first time, man, I had got hurt in the playoffs, so I had just missed it, man, and that one hurt because, I was at that time, people don't realize I was following the number 1 receiver at that time, even in my second year, and Champ was playing the nickel. People forget that. So at that time, I was kind of coming into that. I had real high confidence at that time. And the type of player I was going to be. And man, that just getting hurt and then losing that Super Bowl, not being able to showcase what I could do right there, and then losing Vaughn, that hurt. So that gave us a lot of motivation to come back and come back better, and that definitely helped us propel us to get to Super Bowl, winning Super Bowl 50. But I think Super Bowl 50, man, we just kind of knew it. We kind of had it. It was in the air, man. We had a great game plan. We knew that the game plan was, of course, play man, and we're going to, I would say, kind of delay blitz cam. We kind of delayed them. We would, because they have a lot of block them up formations, and we would kind of let B. Marsh and Danny Trey kind of delay and then hit it fast, and have tight coverage out there, making them throw in tight lanes, tight space. And we felt like we could cover their receivers all day. So we had a great game plan, and it showed definitely. We brought the heat. That's why you see so much pressure. Vaughn coming. D. Ware has sacks. Everybody has sacks, in that game. So it's because we were bringing so much heat.
Yeah, it's very special to watch. Definitely one of the best games I've ever watched. JMack is not kidding. He always talks about on the show, literally always bringing you up with man coverage. I swear, like this whole season with Vance Joseph running a little bit more predominantly zone coverage, always talking about you run man coverage.
Man. We're playing some man. We're playing a little man.
Yeah,
we are.
It's a little bit. I'm just so used to like the way Phillips, like, man, we ran man so much, and it just like it seemed like nobody could really do anything with it. Like the year we won the Super Bowl, like we ran man every single game, and it seemed like.
But we gotta have some corners, man. Think about it. We just got JMack just started playing, so we still haven't seen him. We know he's a playmaker, but we haven't seen him play like man the full game. Like. So we're still kind of seeing what he can really do. We know he's a great blitzer and a very aggressive tackler, playmaker. We know Pat can play man, but Monroe, he can play man a little bit. So you don't want to, it's different when you have three corners, me, Roby, and Talib, you can play man all game like that. So it's kind of different when you don't have three elite ones.
Yeah, you're right. It's just, man. It's a part of me just misses it, man. I'm not gonna lie, I just miss.
They're playing some man though. They're getting better. They're playing some man a little bit more. From just watching the tape, they got some. They should sweep out. I think if they win the rest of the games, I think they should have a great chance to make the playoffs. They got to win out though.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah, absolutely. Do or die mode, sudden death. Chris, thank you so much for being on the show, man. Seriously, I appreciate it. Once again, man, you were by far one of my favorite players ever. I remember in school, like in 2018, 2019, when you were negotiating on a one-year deal with the Broncos, I would literally be in class, like refreshing my Google Chrome to see if you were brought back or not. That's how like invested I was. I have like a little Broncos account on Instagram, so I would always be like, man, please bring Chris back. Like I was always just refreshing my phone and everything. So seriously, that's how much like big of a fan I am of your game and everything. And I hope the absolute best for the rest of your career. And thank you so much for everything, seriously, that you did for this franchise.
Oh yeah, no problem, man. Thanks for having me. You have a good rest of the week.
No, you too,
Appreciate
man.
you, man. So with that being said, I'm your host, Amir Farrell, with my co-host, JMack, and today's amazing guest, Chris Harris Jr. To the next one. Peace out, everybody. Peace out.